Hey everybody, it's Father Guy, Guy's Comic Life. Became a daddy last week, sorry for the delay. She is beautiful, 6 pounds, 13 ounces. Couldn't be happier. She is the highlight of my comic haul, but she is eating right now, so just gonna wait to show her off. What I wanted to do today is, I don't have a lot of books, but I wanted to review Amazing Spider-Man issue 800. Got a couple back issues, but here's the regular cover by Alex Ross. What an incredible cover this guy did. This is my reader copy. This is the copy that, I'm going to get my dirty fingerprints on and open up, and, my store, these 80-page books are pretty hard to take care of, so the corners got some blunting, but, yeah, great cover, Alex. Alex Ross really doesn't disappoint ever, And I just love the fire coming out of the Red Goblin's mouth. It's really cool. And the cover that will be going to CGC, this is definitely a 9.6. I think it's a 9.6 just because I see a little crease right there. But this is a damn minty fresh variant cover by Gabriel Dell'Otto. And I just love the type font at the top. But yeah, it's really cool because this book is divided up into 4 chapters. And there's a couple cool little prologues at the end. There's like a conclusion, and then there's like an aftermath kind of thing. There is a major death in this issue. It's very sad. I'm not going to say who it is, but someone very close to Spider-Man, somebody around since the Steve Ditko days. Honestly, it was leading up for one character that I thought was going to die, and they didn't. So I was a little surprised by that, actually. But the main thing here is this book is a damn masterpiece. There is something in here for every Spider-Man fan to love. You have all the Spider-Man family in this book. In the beginning you have Silk, Miles Morales, Flash Thompson, Anti-Venom in this book. Norman Osborn hasn't been this evil since he killed Gwen Stacy. I was legitimately scared of what he did in this book, so I'm going to be dropping spoilers. I just won't say who dies at the end. But in the end, Red Goblin goes on this spree in Times Square. He realizes that Peter doesn't just value his friends and family, he values all life. And he just starts killing hundreds of people in Times Square, and I don't think I've ever seen Norman Osborn do anything like this. It is insane. I was tearing up mad in this book, man. There's a funeral for who dies at the end of the book. I gotta say who it is, or I can't review this scene. So back away in 3, 2, 1. I'm sure you've all read this book. It's sold 400,000 copies. Norman Osborn kills Flash Thompson in this issue. So basically, Red Goblin sends Normie to Aunt May to kill her, but Dr. Octopus saves Aunt May, and together him and Normie put these goblin trackers in them, so when Norman snaps his fingers, he basically kills all of them. And Flash Thompson as Anti-Venom went and healed them all, but in doing so hurt himself, so he was vulnerable, and the Red Goblin killed him in front of Peter, and Peter was wearing the black suit. Venom gives Spider-Man the black suit, so for the first time since Amazing Spider-Man, or Web of Spider-Man #1, he dons the alien costume. The alien was on Spider-Man in this issue. It's so cool to see him fight in the black suit against Red Goblin. And at the end, how he defeats Red Goblin is basically with his ego. They go mano a mano. He says, hey, you take off your symbiote, you take off mine. If you kill me, everyone will say Carnage killed Spider-Man. They won't say Green Goblin killed Spider-Man. And Norman wants the satisfaction, so he takes off his symbiote, and Spider-Man does so to him. And Peter emerges victorious. And J. Jonah Jameson arrives with a gun in his hand and basically tries to shoot and kill Norman, saying, he's never going to stop, he'll just break out of jail. And to a point he's right, but Spider-Man jumps in and takes the bullet for Norman getting hit, and he says, with great power comes great responsibility, even to the worst of us. So, just further proof that Peter cares about all life, that he can't let someone die. That was really powerful. And the best speech from this book comes at the very end at Flash Thompson's funeral, when Peter was basically calling Flash Thompson his hero, and that him being his bully all through high school, if he didn't bully him, it wouldn't have made him the man he is today. It wouldn't have made him as strong as he is today. And that, Eugene Flash Thompson secretly had, he admired Peter his whole life. That's the reason he bullied him. He just envied him. Peter had it all. He had Gwen, he had Mary Jane, he had Harry Osborn. These are all things that Flash wished that he had. And it's amazing to see how much these two have grown together over these 800 issues. I always thought Flash Thompson was the biggest douchebag ever, but recently, that's changed my mind. And I never thought I'd say I want Dan Slott to leave. I've always said, I want Dan Slott to leave, but wow, after this Red Goblin arc, I wish he wasn't leaving, because this is the best Spider-Man arc that I have read since I've come out. Think about it. I was born in 1983. 90s Spider-Man comics were garbage. Clone Saga was garbage. Ultimate Spider-Man, the original, Brian Michael Bendis run with Mark Bagley, those were great, but it was just a retelling origin of Spider-Man. And Civil War was good, but all of that was erased, so no one knows who Peter was under the mask. So when he unmasked himself, I always thought that was the best story I ever read. But this is going to have permanent ramifications on Spider-Man. Hell of a story. Thank you, Dan Slott. I can't wait to read issue 801. That's going to be his last issue. But yeah, I love this cover. Definitely a contender for cover of the year. Gabriel Dell'Otto again. Go down swinging. So those are my two Amazing Spider-Man 800s that I picked up. And let's start with some DC. The other new comic book. My dad actually got this for me after Natalie was born. That's my daughter's name. And this is the Man of Steel, issue number 1, written by Brian Michael Bendis. Is his name up there? First issue Brian Michael Bendis did on Superman. Well, if you don't count Action Comics 1000, because that wasn't really a full comic book. It was just 10 pages. But, pleasantly surprised. I said if Bendis screwed up Superman, that I would own up to it and say, hey, I was wrong, guys. But this book is really solid. We get a nice backstory, kind of partial origin to Rogolzar, the villain who appeared in Action Comics 1000, where he's talking to a council. So it's his second appearance and origin. So it's a key book. The art in this book is phenomenal. And it's nice seeing Superman be classic Superman. I really feel like he is. And Bendis is kind of adding some sarcasm to the character. Superman usually doesn't make me laugh, but he made me laugh in this book. And this book ends on a great cliffhanger. So basically, something happens to Jonathan Kent, his son, and Lois Lane. We don't know what. But it's something bad, And the good thing about this book is that it's weekly and it's cheap. So I'll be looking for issue 2 this week. Good job, Bendis, so far. 1 for 1. And these are just 2 back issues that I wanted. Speaking of Jonathan Kent and Super Sons, this is Superman issue 10 from the Rebirth. This is a damn near mint copy. I wish I had some dough to send this over to CGC. This is a 9.8. There's no way it's not. So yeah, this is the first appearance of the Super Sons, Jonathan Kent, Damian Wayne. This sparked their comic book, Super Sons. Very sad that it's canceled, but I hear it might come back. Yeah, cool cover, and I got a great deal. And the last book that I have is... This is a hell of a book right here, guys. This is another 9.8 candidate. This is Batman White Knight issue 3. This is the first appearance of the Neo Harley Quinn Joker. Great Sean Gordon Murphy cover right here. So, yeah, this book is heating up and it's going up in price more and more. You know, if this character gets any, like, if she's ever in a TV show or a movie, look for this book to just heat the hell up. You know, if you could find a copy of this for cover price or close to it, I'd definitely recommend picking this up. And go ahead and read this series, man. This was a real treat. I've been waiting for a great Batman story for a long time. I mean, Tom King is like really cool, but he's inconsistent. You know, I'm really excited for the Batman Wedding start this week. Actually, that's gonna be cool. But this is a real treat. Stories come out like this once in a lifetime, and I hear that he might be doing a sequel to White Knight. So we'll see. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, be coming out with stuff more frequently. You know, parenting is hard. You try to sleep when you can, and feel rested today. And I will see you guys later. Like and subscribe, okay? Peace out.